friends who were awaiting from the Welcome to Palestine campaign have started being returned from their homelands at airports in Europe, and all night long we've been following gladly for the organizations. So the escalation of these attacks on any person that is coming to Palestine and participating in peaceful events within the scope of our campaign has just increased per hour dramatically. The majority of our French friends have not been allowed to board planes. The Germans have made it, except for one person. The Swiss, some of the Swiss have been returned. Alitalia has returned quite a few people. And therefore, we're here, I think, to tell you a little bit about the program of the campaign and the reason why we've done that. The authorities have sent names all night long to the airlines, telling them to deny entry to these individuals based on their friendship with Palestine. There are no legal basis on people being denied access in their homeland countries to access the planes. We've received copies of letters that were sent from airlines to clients cancelling their tickets based on a decision by the Israeli Ministry of Interior. We've called on airlines, and our friends coming in through the door have called on their airlines not to accept this blackmailing, provocative position from Israel, and sadly, most airlines have not taken the courage to do so. Set up security at the airport. The Interior Security Minister has been given the right to act with determination and force in Israeli airports, in Tel Aviv and the Bethlehem airports. We've seen in Paris the reaction of our friends, where they sat down and chanted, "We shall overcome." So they're not the hooligans we've been hearing about in the press for the last 5-6 days. They were invited here by dozens of Palestinian civil society actors and groups. They're invited to spend a few days in Palestine with a program of activities. They're not here to conduct violent activities as it has been trained. They were on the way to come here and work with us. We represent a small spectrum of the organizations involved in the program, and they declared their commitment. The idea was for them to come in and say, "We're going to Palestine," to change the discourse and what was required usually from a foreigner coming to Palestine, to lie and say that they're going to Israel, that they're coming on tourism, they're going to spend a weekend in Eilat, and then actually they're coming here. It is a basic right for them and for us as Palestinians to receive our visitors. The hooligan story and the violent people, I mean, you've all traveled. You've traveled to come here, you've seen what it is to get searched coming into an Israeli airport. Even though we could accuse some of these people, the Israelis could accuse them of being pro-Palestinian, which seems to be equivalent to being hooligans in these Israeli eyes. What is the security threat anybody on an Israeli plane, an Israeli plane bound to Israel can represent? Nothing. So there's no way to justify the violence that has been used, and violence starts by denying people their basic rights in their countries. We are pleased, sadly pleased, that this episode has shown the Israeli policies towards anything that is related to us. The invitation extended to our friends had been announced a few months ago. It was a very clear invitation that involved activities over the coming few days. But the racist, criminal, dictatorial state of Israel has just decided to not comply with the basic human rights and basic democratic rights of the Palestinians. In international law, and today we already have a group of lawyers that are either in Germany, they have started, and in Israel, trying to represent our visitor. There are bilateral agreements, travel agreements, and there's a reciprocity that has to be applied. What would happen if an Israeli gets denied access to a plane in Israel because France doesn't want to receive it? Our foreign visitors have insisted that they want to be treated with respect, just like the Israelis isn't going to their countries. This hasn't been the case in Paris this morning, this hasn't been the case in Zurich, this hasn't been the case with Malek out of Paris. They have exercised, some of them in Paris, their right to protest peacefully. But if you look at some of the media transformation of the images that we've been getting this morning, they're still portrayed as pro-Palestinian terrorists, basically, and that's what's being said on and on and on. The peaceful protests that have started this morning in airports are also happening at Ben Gurion Airport. There are some activists that are there that have received people with balloons this morning, the few that have made it. Sadly, a lot have been deported. There's already a few Swedes and Americans that have been deported this morning. We ask you to insist on the fair reporting of what's happening, of being there. We can't be at the airport. We can't go and be there to see what's happening to our friends. You have the opportunity to do that, and we hope that you do that in the right manner. Thank you.